Welcome to Panic Button. I'm Nina.
I'm Jessie.
And today we're reacting to some crazy woke stuff.
I bet you didn't know that Kurt Cobain was probably trans. Kurt wore a lot of women's clothing, and when asked about this, they replied that they wore dresses all the time because they felt comfortable and free. And in an interview about their childhood, Kurt said that they mostly hung out around girls, and that at one point, they thought they might be gay. Many trans people who don't have the vocabulary yet to express their gender identity will describe what they're feeling as being gay. Kurt is also quoted as saying that they identify more with the feminine than with the masculine. Of course, Kurt will never be able to tell us themselves, but the evidence makes it pretty obvious they were trans.
If you were to say Kurt referred to Kurt's self, then that would at least be respectful of the individual's gender identity, be it what it is or not. Right? Isn't that true? Wouldn't it be more respectful to name the person than to push on them a gender identity that they don't even know exists because they're dead? Wouldn't it be more respectful is my question.
Let me break this down piece by piece.
I bet you didn't know that Kurt Cobain was probably trans. Kurt wore a lot of women's clothing, and when asked about this, they replied that they wore dresses all the time because they felt comfortable and free. And in an interview...
Where did it say that? Where did he say that? When did he say that? Kurt wore dresses on stage, in public, to make a statement, to push boundaries. He wasn't going home and chilling out and putting on a fucking dress unless they were high as fucking playing dress up. He wasn't doing it because he felt like he was a woman.
Kurt Cobain is the same person that said they wanted to make enough money to become a drug addict and die.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there. So,
I also want to put this out there.
Not the healthiest mentality.
This dude right here speaking, he knew, as just a regular straight guy, he knew that if he would never get famous on TikTok or social media just by being a white guy talking. But he's like, aha! But you know how I can make money and how I can become famous online?
By being a white woman talking.
You got it.
Sorry, it's just
you
funny.
Got it.
It's sad because it's kind of funny to say it.
But it's true. This is a costume.
Yeah, we're all watching it. You, me, and them.
About their childhood, Kurt said that they mostly hung out around girls, and that at one point, they thought they might be gay. Many trans...
Bullshit.
I have a brother who also mostly hangs out with women, but is only dating women. So, like...
I haven't heard one single solitary story of Kurt ever being interested in guys. And first of all, if a guy hangs out with girls all the time, that doesn't make him gay.
No. Not at all. What was the documentary we watched? In fact, the first time
Montage of Heck.
They talk about Kurt talking about how he couldn't get with anyone, and so he got with someone, and then he felt bad about it. Not because it was a woman, but because he felt like he took advantage of someone. So, I don't know what you've been watching or listening to, but that's what I know. The girl was a little mentally delayed, and so he felt bad.
But it was consensual.
It was consensual, but he still felt bad. I mean, but because he felt like he wasn't, like it wasn't because he was with a woman.
He was with a woman.
No, I'm saying he didn't feel bad because he was with a woman. He felt bad because the woman was mentally delayed, and he felt wrong for that. But
trans people who don't have the vocabulary yet to express their gender identity will describe what they're feeling as being gay. Kurt is also quoted...
Oh, I think we have quite a few words now to express gender identity.
It's not like Kurt Cobain was alive in the 1800s. Just saying.
Are you saying, is this dude saying that because you couldn't be gay, it was better to be trans?
No. More that Kurt was scared of both,
Apparently. Okay.
But I don't think it was that. I don't think it was suppressed vocabulary at that point.
No, Kurt was pretty open with all different types of people. If he was actually trans, he would have just came out.
Transsexuals existed, right? It's not like it was like the 1800s where it was like unbelief. Transsexuals existed at that point in time. So saying that he didn't have the vocabulary is kind of wild to me because it very much existed, and I'm sure he saw it.
Mm-hmm.
is also quoted as saying that they identify more with the feminine than with the masculine. Of course, Kurt will never be able to tell us themselves, but the evidence makes it pretty.
Wait, what is feminine? What is masculine? Well, masculine can be feminine and feminine can be masculine.
I think all that statement was from Kurt was, I identify more with emotions than with physical attacks. That's what feminine and masculine was. Also, remember, this is fucking 25 plus years ago. So your ideas of feminine and masculine have shifted exponentially in my entire lifetime. So keep that in track before you start spewing facts you don't even know about.
But the evidence makes it pretty obvious they were trans.
That's obvious.
You know,
It's obvious.
I say
It's trans.
it's crazy because you can't go pushing labels onto people that existed in the past.
You're offending the dead.
It's not even like, it's pushing a narrative that never existed because you want to have a fun story to tell. But
Yeah.
there's actual fun facts you could say, like Anne Frank was at least experimentally bisexual. It's true. Look it up.
Yeah, I didn't see any Kurt Cobain lyrics about wanting to have sex with men or wanting to be a woman.
Yeah, and then Anne Frank actually like dives deep into how she liked kissing girls.
Yeah.
But nobody talks about that because that's true. Why would we want to talk about that? We want to make up fucking stories about Kurt Cobain.
Well, it's clickbait. That's why he did it.
Right.
The white man who was oppressed decided to be a woman and then go on TikTok and say, hey, guess what? All these other famous people that you like, they were just trans.
Which
Bowie,
is why
trans. Annie Lennox, trans. Motley Crue and their long hair,
trans. Well, that's why it's so sad, because you could actually read someone's personal account and say, oh my God, they were experimenting in bisexuality. Who knows what would have happened if they got to the full age? And then you're sitting here instead and being like, even though no one ever said it, I think that he's trans. You know who else wore dresses? A lot of little boys. You know who else wore dresses? Actors in shows when women couldn't be in them. You know what it doesn't make them? Trans.
BTK killer. He dressed up like women. He wasn't trans.
It just doesn't make sense. And look it up, the Anne Frank thing, it's real.
Richard Speck. He became trans in prison because it was better than being killed.
Abraham Lincoln literally talked about how he missed a man in bed.
Really?
He wrote letters about it.
Oh, I never really dove deep into Lincoln, but I guess that makes
And like I
kind
said,
of sense. I mean,
right.
Did you see his wife?
And then, yeah, Anne Frank for real was talking about how she made
I mean,
out with
no offense to his wife. I'm sure she's a lovely, lovely, lovely woman.
Yeah, Anne Frank was talking about how she made out with this girl, and she was like, do you want to do more? And the girl was like, not really. And she was like, damn. I like that. Like, that's what was in her diary.
And a lot of people would say, well, is it just because they were like locked in a room together for so long?
I never said
and they didn't have any physical affection with anyone else. So
Here's another big difference. I didn't say, oh, there's a strong potential she was trans. I said, who knows what would have happened if she'd grown up? Maybe she would have been more attracted to females. Either way, this is someone who was experimenting at the very least with their sexuality. And that's an insane thing to think about. That Anne Frank, despite everything else, was also struggling with her sexuality.
this dude here, he goes out and tries to trap servers into misgendering him. You know, 'cause
Her,
it's like
whatever.
It's a knife in the heart. It's a knife. You know, it's cool for him to misgender the dead. That's
Well,
cool.
yeah, because they already got a knife in the heart once, so it's easy to fix.
A lot of people are watching guys like this and are thinking, this is getting old. Kind of getting tired of this. This is like a sideshow act. I don't think a lot of people are taking this seriously like they were before. Now it's kind of like, okay, all right, I've had enough. Who are they going to say next is trans? Who's dead? So they're going to say someone else is dead. They're
Donald
dead.
Trump.
Michael Jackson? I bet he was trans, right?
I bet they're going to go down that avenue. But they're going to say after Donald Trump dies that Donald Trump was an asshole because he was secretly trans.
Ooh, I bet yes. Yes.
Because everything has to come down to, well, something that's wrong.
And the reason why he was so,
Grab him by the pussy is because he wanted a pussy.
was he just internally homophobic? Because he wanted to grab them by the pee-pee.
Grab him by the pussy. The
Sorry.
pee-pee. The pee-pee
Sorry.
very much means something else.
Sorry, the wang. Maybe he was expressing over masculinity because he harbored feelings for men.
Right, because he was taught misogyny.
Like, they'll come up with a whole bunch of crazy shit like that.
But no, there's real people in history that you could actually listen to their personal accounts and learn from, or
Yeah.
you could make up fucking lies. Kurt Cobain never said he felt like a woman.
He did it again. Kurt Cobain never said he was a woman. I love it. I love when I catch it. Because it's like I'm never expecting it. It's like a little tune at the end of your sentence. Should we end this video?
Yeah, thanks for recommending it to the people who've recommended it.
Yeah.
We definitely saw it, and we just got a little upset.
But we're calm now. Like and subscribe. Comment below.
Ring my bell.